How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great.
Good.
So how old were you when you met your spouse?
I met my spouse when I was 28 years old.
Nice. Young.
Yes.
Describe your courtship.
Describe my our courtship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our courtship lasted about a year. Actually, a little bit longer than a year. And when we first met, we knew that we were made for each other.
That's cute.
And we were engaged 5 months later. No, I'm sorry, 7 months later. We were engaged 7 months later. And then we were married 5 months after that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Wow. Were problems evident during the courtship?
Were problems
They had
evident?
any problems?
Were any problems evident
Any problems?
during our courtship?
Any?
What kind of problems are you
I
talking
don't
about?
know, like just relationship problems?
You know, actually, it's interesting that you say that, because I think that that's essential to any courtship, that you
Yeah.
recognize problems and you're able to work through them, and it's really what gives you an indication that this is a solid relationship. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have any problems during your courtship, and then you get married, and then your first problem after you get married, you may not be able to deal with it together.
That makes so much sense.
So it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you decide to get married?
I decided to get married because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to spend the rest of my life with Mom, and that nobody else was going to.
There you go. Did you marry for
I
money?
wanted to get her off the market.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you marry for money?
Did I marry for money? No, I didn't marry for money. I
Gotcha.
don't think it's a good thing to marry for money.
That's smart. What were you looking for in a spouse?
I was looking for someone who liked to share what I share, and who I could just be very comfortable with, and who I can tell anything to, and who could hit curveball.
Ooh, nice. She's good at baseball?
No, I threw a couple of curveballs.
Oh, you did? Oh. How do children affect marriage?
I don't think children affect marriage.
No.
You know, I think that you have a solid relationship, and then you have children, and you become partners in the family business.
Nice.
Right.
How important are money and marriage?
Money's not important.
It's not important.
No.
No.
No. I mean, if you have it, I think it's good to have enough that you need, and I think that money can cause more problems.
Right.
The more that you have sometimes.
Right.
And for others, if you don't have enough, it sometimes causes them problems. But Mom and I, when we first got married, we didn't have a lot.
Right.
But, we were both working, and we both worked hard. And
What about sex?
What about sex?
How important is it in a marriage?
I don't know. We haven't had any yet. I've heard it's great, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm trying to be a model to my children to wait as long as possible. And I'm 50. I would be 55 now.
Okay.
Well, how about you?
No,
I heard it's great, though.
It is?
Yeah.
Great.
I've read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movies.
No, I've never watched
You
movies.
never seen movies?
How about you?
Me?
Have you?
I just only watch G-rated.
Okay.
Yeah. What advice would you give teenagers?
About what?
Anything about marriage.
I would suggest that they be certain that the person that they're with is someone that they would actually like to spend the rest of their life with. that the courtship does not have to be, well, the courtship has to be as long as you need it to be, but
Right.
that let it be as long as you need it to be and then a little bit longer,
Right.
just to be sure.
That's yeah.
And especially if you haven't been through any rough seas before marriage.
Makes sense.
That's a true test.
Right. Would you ever get remarried?
Well, I kind of like the wife I have now, but
Yeah, sure.
talking about now,
Yeah. Not the next life. Now.
but then I would have to get divorced first.
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Right. If you would get remarried, how would it be different?
You know, I couldn't see being married to anybody other than Mom, and as such, it would be very different. It would be very different. You know,
What is-
especially that I've
yeah.
been with Mom. It'll be 27 years that
Right.
we'll be together
Mhm.
this August.
Yeah. What is the most difficult thing about being married, besides the curveballs?
What's the most difficult thing about being married? You know, if it's just the two of you in a relationship, then it's a lot easier.
Mm.
But sometimes family, each of you bring to a marriage your own families,
Mm.
and there's a lot of different characters and personalities.
Mm.
And sometimes a little bit more of a character than personality.
Right.
And you know, it's difficult to throw two families together and say you belong together. Just because the two people belong together doesn't mean that the two families belong together as well.
Right.
So you work it as best you can,
Mhm.
knowing that it's not going to be a perfect mix.
Mhm.
And I think the best thing to do is just make sure that the two of you have a solid core first.
Mhm.
And, you know, if the families get along, that's fine. If they don't, just make sure that you know that you got that solid core.
Right. Thank you, Tom.
Welcome,
Tom.
Joseph.